I first saw this film sometime in the late 90s. I bought a copy of it on VHS. And it is, I believe, the first film that I ever bought on VHS that I did not finish. I remember playing Zombie 4 and maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes in. I don't even know if it was even that long. But basically, like, I didn't want to watch it anymore. It just didn't seem interesting. I thought it was actually thought it was just flat out boring, not compelling, not anything. And after that, I had fast forward through the rest of the movie, and I may fast forward, played a little bit, fast forward, played a little bit, but most of it I like fast forward all the way to the end. So the end, and that was it. Just like I don't know. I just was not feeling it. I had never done that before. If I bought something on VHS back then, or even rented something, like I watched it, but I just didn't with this movie. And I think also didn't help that the print wasn't all that great. The print, like, it was really dark, the print, and it wasn't unwatchable, but it was like kind of veering into that territory like of almost unwatchable. Like I could tell what was going on, but I didn't see like things clear enough with the picture that I don't know. Maybe if it was a clear copy of the film, I would have went ahead and just forced myself like to finish it. The fact that what I was seeing I wasn't really liking, actually didn't like at all, and then the fact I couldn't really see what I was seeing, at least not to the way I would have liked, I just didn't watch the movie. Like, first time I did that wouldn't be the last time I bought a movie or rented a movie from that point forward where I didn't finish it or didn't watch it at all for one reason or another. But yeah, Zombie 4 has that first distinction for me. Fast forward many years later, I never heard too much about Zombie 4. I wouldn't say it was completely an obscure film, but like it was pretty much close. I don't know, like no one really talked about it, no one really discussed it, and it didn't really take up any headspace in my mind. And the few times that I did hear any mention of this film, and the rare few times I haven't heard any mention of this movie, I would think about, wow, that was a terrible movie. Like, I will never watch that again. Well, I never even watched it as a whole to begin with, but that was it. I had no intentions of ever watching Zombie 4 again, ever. And then, like, over the last few years, I had scenes that Zombie 4 had begun to circulate around streaming, and various streaming platforms had Zombie 4, to view. And I still wasn't interested. I'm like, that's nice that I guess it's getting, some degree of notable attention, but it won't get any more from me. And then, like, I don't know, for some reason, I think it was like a year ago, 2 years ago, I can't remember, the fact that I never finished Zombie 4 was starting to, I don't want to say bother me, that's too strong a word, but it was just like, I don't know, like, you should finish this film. Even though it's been many years since you first tried to watch it, just finish it. Just look at it from beginning to end so you could go ahead and say, I gave it a full shot and I do not like this movie. And so eventually, like, I did, look at Zombie 4 After Death. I think I watched it on Tubi or something, can't remember. And I thought, hey, it's not that bad. Like, it's not a good movie, but it's actually not that bad. It wasn't as boring as I thought. It did help that I can actually see what was going on, because on Tubi it looks crystal clear, or at least as crystal clear as it could probably get. So that definitely helped, that I was able to fully see what was going on. But also, I don't know, my mindset, I guess, was different. All those years later, Zombie 4 After Death is not your typical movie. It's definitely quite odd and strange in that, Italian horror film, 80s, type of way that, not, and of course not all of those films were like that particular genre. Yeah, there's a lot of the horror films from the 70s and 80s, and that were Italian productions, just narratively just made no sense. Like, they made little to no sense. All kinds of stuff that happened seemed random, and I don't know. like a lot of those movies, you don't really watch it for you don't watch it in a way that you would normally watch films, like seeing how a story unfolds from point A to point Z. You watch it more so for the vibes, you watch it more for the set pieces and the visuals and the tone and all of that, and of course the gore. That's really what I watch those films for. At least that's what I watched them for. And some of them do make sense if you look at them hard enough. But yeah, just they're very surreal, seemingly stream of consciousness type of cinema. And that's certainly not for everybody, and sometimes it's not for me, depending on my mood. But yeah, the older I've gotten, the more I've been able to appreciate those type of movies. And of course, it's not just Italian cinema that does that type of thing. Well, Italian horror cinema from the 70s and 80s. You also have other type of genres, other countries, other filmmakers that do those type of movies. I mean, David Lynch is probably the most famous person to do, that type of style of filmmaking. Zombie 4 After Death. I wish I could give like a little recap of what it's about, but I can't, because it really isn't about anything. I remember watching I watched it very recently, Zombie 4 After Death, maybe about 2 to 3 weeks ago. And this time around when I watched it, I actually did think it was a good movie. Not a good movie in a unironically type of way. It's a pretty bad movie, but in an entertaining type of way, engaging type of way. Yeah, I thought it was good. I actually thought it was really good this time around. I would actually, after all these years, buy myself a copy of Zombie 4 After Death. So watching this last time, I'm trying to see, because I didn't really remember from the last time I watched it before, 2 years ago, whatever it was, what was the plot, or at least the specifics of the plot. And I'm 20 minutes in, I'm what is this movie about? I am really, really baffled. What is the plot of this movie? At least the main plot. And I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. And I don't think it was because of any misunderstanding on my part of not understanding what this film was about. The film really isn't about anything. Once you get towards probably the end of the first act, some ideal, some semblance of what this film is about, arises. But even then, it doesn't really stick to that. The movie is basically just a bunch of set pieces, okay, that are supported by this threadbare plot of a story. All kinds of crazy, odd, weird shit happens in this movie. Characters do things that are just unbelievable, that doesn't make any sense, that is unreasonable. And I don't know, I'm just looking through this movie. I'm getting to the halfway point, and it's just so I don't know if scatterbrain is the right word. This movie's just so all over the place. It really is all over the place, unfocused, but also kind of in the best way possible, at least in an entertaining type of manner. I don't know, it's crazy, it's chaotic. And I was wondering as I was watching it, I got to the halfway point, this film, not just in terms of its narrative that was all over the place, but its visuals were very reminiscent of Claudio Fragasso. And Claudio Fragasso directed, well, at least partially directed Zombie 3, and he directed all of the So Bad It's Great classic Troll 2. And I'm whoever directed this movie, their style, their way of making the story happen is very, very reminiscent of Claudio Fragasso. And I checked, no, I have to check. I was watching the movie, and I know I have to check right now, who directed this movie, because it's really bothering me. And getting the answer. And it was Claudio Fragasso. It makes complete sense. It makes complete and total sense that Claudio Fragasso would go ahead and helm this movie, because it's just, I don't know, it just totally is very specific to his type of storytelling. And I also was saying that too because of some of the action scenes in the movie. And this movie has quite a bit of action. It's, in a lot of ways, it's like an action horror movie. They had zombies doing gymnastics and flips. There were zombies doing martial arts. What the fuck? Which is very, very reminiscent of Zombie 3. Because in Zombie 3 they were doing the same stuff. And yeah, it definitely had to be Fragasso. No one else but Claudio Fragasso would make a film this bonkers, this off the wall, this deliciously crazy. Like, yeah, so by the time the film ends, like it's a little bit more clear, like kind of what the film's about, but not really. And then like by the time the film ends, it's like I don't know. The ending is just feels very tacked on, and the ending like makes completely no sense in regards to what somebody says. If a character does this particular thing, or if this particular thing happens, then all is good. All is good. All is right with the world. You know, evil will be vanquished if this particular thing is done, and then it is done. But then by the end of the movie, like what happens completely contradicts what was said or what happened. Like the characters did what needed to be done for good to win the day, but then all of a sudden something happens in the end where basically that all didn't matter and it wasn't even explained. But then again, I'm watching a Claudio Fragasso film. Things are not supposed to make sense, but you know, and normally things don't make any sense really. It can really rub me the wrong way when things don't make sense in a film. Like there needs to be some kind of logic, you know, for the most part. Again, it depends what type of film you're making, but yeah, usually I do want some degree of logic in my stories. You know, this event happens, and because this event happens, it triggers this event or this response, you know. But sometimes once in a while, you don't need things to make sense. Sometimes once in a while, there doesn't need to be any order to any type of storytelling, or just doesn't be like sometimes the best films are ones that revel in awesome disorder, and that's what this film is to a T. Zombie 4 After Death is certainly not a great movie, but it's great at what it does. Also, it has like one of the best songs ever to come from a movie, a song called After Death, which I would put it up there with Party Time as one of the best songs to ever come from a zombie movie ever. The awesome song After Death is sung by the film's composer, Al Festa, who recently passed, and may he forever rest in power. Zombie 4 After Death certainly is not a classic, but it is classically so bad it's good, and is definitely another classic from Claudio Fragasso.